So nicely set the tone for this conference, wherein we all need to consider that this is a resource and we have to take it and consider it as a resource. It is not a waste, it needs a management. Just a consciousness is sufficient enough for that. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to request, I would like respected A.V. Shah sir, Shri P.U. Asnani sir, Shri Dharmendra Bhai. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to have been asked to deliver this vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on the entire team, on behalf of entire team of Saket Projects Limited, extend a very heartily vote of thanks to all of you for gracing your important time, work, and sharing your time when finding the opinions and giving us today and spending your time with us. We are deeply thankful to Sri A.V. Shah sir for his inspiring presence during the inaugural. Sir, your words of wisdom provided direction to this conference. I further extend a sincere thanks to Sri P.U. Asnani sir. Sir, your speech was definitely thought-provoking one and we thank you wholeheartedly. We also like to acknowledge our gratitude to our eminent experts who have responded to our request and sparing their time for us despite their busy schedules and sharing their valuable knowledge with us. We thank our sponsors for their wholehearted support for this program. Last but not the least, we are thankful to all the participants whose presence in such huge number after this COVID time has encouraged us to organize such other events as well. We look forward to your participation in future as well. Thank you once again for making this conference happen. And now we shall take a tea break. High time to infuse some caffeine into bodies. We will come back after 15 minutes. Thank you. The only way to a sustainable future for hazardous industries. Without any ado, I would like to request our session chairman, Dr. Pradeep Dave, Scientific Officer, Gujarat Pollution Control Board, to please come upon the dais and occupy his chair. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Pradeep Dave, Scientific Officer, Gujarat Pollution Control Board. I request Shri J.B. Suhag, Consultant, TSJ Technopower, Ahmedabad, to come upon the dais and take his chair. Mr. J.B. Suhag is a mechanical engineer and first-class boiler proficiency engineer from Gujarat Boiler Board. Currently thermal power consultant and earlier associated with Rebo Industries Limited as a Vice President Western Region, and he has more than 40 years of hand-on experience in the field of thermal power sector from low, medium to high capacity boilers and power plants. Thank you, sir, for coming up. I request Shri DJ Yadav, CEO Arvind Envisel Limited, to please come upon the dais and occupy his chair. Mr. Yadav is the Director and Chief Executive Officer at Arvind Envisel Limited. This is a wholly owned subsidiary of Arvind Limited. He also has acted as the CEO, Projects for Arvind Limited, heading the energy, environment and engineering aspects of the Lalbhai Group companies. Mr. Dinesh is a mechanical engineer with an MBA of education. Mr. Dinesh has staunch experience of 38 years in the field of energy and environment and has handled power plant projects totaling of 500 megawatt and has been associated with Arvind since 1997. We welcome all the dignitaries upon the dais here. As I had mentioned earlier, due to this COVID protocol, we are not welcoming them with the florals, but with a huge round of applause, we will welcome them. Thank you so much, sir, for coming in. I would like to now request our session chairman, sir, to take over the session.
Namaskar. I'm very grateful to the Saket Foundation who has given me the chance to moderate this session. Mr. J.B. Suhag, Mr. DJ Yadav, you are session is based on zero liquid discharge. The only way to sustainable future for hazardous industries. See, it's okay. This is only sustainable future for hazardous industry, but ZLD can be adopted by every sector. Why? Because ZLD, zero liquid discharge, is a three magic word. It's a three magic word for industrial world. Suppose if you say somebody that my industry is zero liquid discharge, so what will be the impact of the other person? Every stakeholder of your industry is impressed by saying that my industry is zero liquid discharge, because they think that if this industry is doing their wastewater, if this industry is doing very well, adopting very well technology for their wastewater, then what about their product? What about their management? They will adopt state-of-art technology for production also. So every stakeholder will put trust on you. ZLD, this is the magic of ZLD, because ZLD is nothing but it's a recovery of reusable wastewater, recyclable wastewater, recyclable water. You can protect the resources, natural resources, by adopting zero liquid discharge. In the present circumstances, there are number of demand is increased for novel chemicals due to this, not even this present situation, but even in past also we can we have already seen that there are numbers of intermediates, number of chemical drugs, number of intermediates have been invented, and the wastewater is generated from the process of these intermediates is nothing but it's a highly concentrated wastewater. And for the treatment of this wastewater, it is very difficult to treat in conventional system. You have to adopt this zero liquid discharge, because if you want to if you don't want to face the adverse circumstances of our other things like any enforcing authority or other regulators, you have to adopt this zero liquid discharge technology. And by adopting this ZLD technology, there are numbers of advantages. That is, you can protect the environment, free of facing any adverse circumstances. You can take sound sleep every night. This is the main advantage, because everybody will be in tension. Okay, what will happen if we discharge our effluent that will not meet the norms of regulatory authority, and we may face some adverse effect also. But after adopting zero liquid discharge, you are totally free from tension. You can take sound sleep at night. This is the most important, isn't it? So, and for that this thing, we have to update every day periodically to aware the updation of the technology, aware the zero liquid discharge technology, and SAKET is doing very good thing by organizing such type of program to aware us periodically in such a very good ambience with delicious food and refreshment. Now, here we have a very knowledgeable speaker with us. We will deliver us a very good presentation regarding updation of zero liquid discharge and adoption of zero liquid discharge technology, and definitely we will adopt it in our industry. So now I am requesting him to deliver his speech to us and aware us about the latest saddle leak technology. Thank you very much.
Respected Dave sir, my senior Yadav sir, and very much thankful for Saket, who is inviting me. Whatever the programs they are organizing, they are inviting me. That is true. But here the opportunity is especially the topic, whatever the topic they have selected, the theme they have selected. Really, it is a requirement of industry, because I worked in industry 40 years. Around 40 years I worked with the industry. So earlier days, what we are doing, and today what the requirement of industry is definitely different. Scenario is totally different. As Dave sir rightly said, now people or industrialists want a sound sleep. They don't want any harassment from anybody or from the government bodies. They want a sound sleep by keeping whatever they require. Now they are telling whatever they require, you have to do. But we want a sound sleep, that's it. We are having money, we invest money, we put a system, but we don't want any harassment, and we want to run the industry smoothly without any interruption of anything. So now the concept is going to be changed. Earlier, people were not, industrialists were not investing money on the waste. They are thinking, what is the ROI? They are telling about the ROI. Today we are investing on this waste treatment or ZLD. What is the ROI? Return of investment. Is there any return of investment? No, return of investment is the sound sleep. Return of investment is the sound sleep. No value of that sound sleep. Right? So this concept is now coming into the picture, and many of the industries are now thinking for the management, or whether it is a solid management, whether it is a liquid management, or whether it is a air pollution management. Strictly and honestly, not just like showing to the government bodies. It is not like that. Earlier we were only just managing to the government bodies, anyhow, by any means. But now it is not like that. Really, sincerely, everybody is now thinking how to escape from these situations and from these conditions. So we have to not think that the waste is not having a value, but definitely it's have a value, whether it is a liquid, solid, or whatever the waste is there. As rightly said by Aswani sir as well as our Shah sir. So why zero liquid discharge? Right? The question comes, why ZLD? Why we want ZLD? So to overcome the disposal of waste water in major hazardous industries. These are the just I highlighted some industries. There are so many other industries also, which are for them it is very much required to manage the wastewater management by ZLD is very much required, because nowadays it is not possible anyone to manage by any conventional method. There is no route away for a conventional method discharge now. Everything is now being highlighted, everything is by now known to everyone, so it is very difficult to manage or to use any conventional method for the discharge. So anyone has to force to use the technologies and invest the money. So chemical, fertilizer, cement and co-processing, pulp and paper, sugar industry, thermal power plants, textile, shelter house, pharmaceuticals, common CTP and sewage treatment plant. These are the industry where huge water requirements or huge recycling water is required to manage the things. So they are must have to go for the this ZLD. Now concept of ZLD, so zero liquid discharge is a desired wastewater management system. It is desired wastewater. If you are not having a desire, you cannot go for the ZLD. Willingness, I told her, willingness to do and real sense to do. That is the ZLD in real sense, not just by showing that we are having a ZLD. ZLD in real sense is the wastewater management to ensure there will be no discharge of industry wastewater into the environment. It is achieved by treating wastewater through 3 R's. 3 R's means recycling, recovery and reuse, right? By 3 R's. And zero liquid discharge can be defined broadly as a process for maximum recovery of water from a wastewater source that would otherwise be discharged by conventional method. What we are going to discharge by conventional method, if we recover 100% of that water is called a zero liquid discharge. This water is manifestly reused and the salts and other solids contained in the wastewater are produced, we generally dispose in a landfilling, right? These salts, whatever the last residue recovered is also being used, or if it is not being used, it is used for landfilling also and not that much harmful for the recycling. Now, drivers and benefits of zero liquid discharge. What are the drivers? Why one forced to go for the ZLD, right? So stricter regulation on wastewater disposal. As earlier dignitaries or speakers told, by now there is no chance of escape from anyone, right? Those, because regulation after 2016 are coming in a very stringent manner. So there will be no possibility for anyone to discharge by conventional method. So this is one thing which drives to go for the ZLD, right? Intensified freshwater scarcity, right? Some areas are there where there is no water, then what to do? If in that area, if you want to industry like pulp and paper or where the huge water consumption is required, then how you set up that industry in that area? Even though raw material is available, even though cheap power is available, even though fuel is available, but it is not possible to set up that industry in that area because water is not there. So what you do? Whatever the water you use, that you 100% recycle, then only it is possible to sustain that industry and viability of that industry. Otherwise, it is not possible to put an industry in that area. So scarcity of water is also one of the driver factor for the ZLD. Then high cost of wastewater disposal, right? To manage by conventional method of wastewater, now it is going to be very, very high. Why very, very high? Because all the doors are being closed now. So it is very difficult for tankers or by managers, also those parties are there, those who are managing the wastewater. Now it is very difficult. So the cost of that disposal, it is better to go for the ZLD instead of managing. Even after managing also there is a headache. क्याकि टैंकर पकड़ा गया तो मरी गया. So that headache forced to the for the ZLD કે આપણે એના કરતા નિશ્ચિત થઈ જાઓ. આપણે નાખી દીધું પ્લાન્ટ શાંતિ થઈ ગઈ, પૈસા એના એ જ જવાના. So like this concept now people industrials are having and they are now forcing or they are now moving towards the ZLD. Then wastewater disposal option may not be feasible. That is costly also and feasible also. Again I am telling, it is costly also as well as not feasible. So that's why this is also one factor, and the last one is the public environmental awareness, right? તરત જ કેમેરામાં ફોટો આવીને વોટ્સએપ પર વાયરલ થઈ જાય કોઈ પણ જગ્યાથી ક્યાંક પકડાયેલો હોય. So this is a factor where the awareness of the public awareness comes in the picture to for the environment, and for that reason they have this force to the ZLD. So what are the benefits of from the ZLD? That is the compliance with environmental regulations. So the very first is that there is no compliance. Nobody wants any compliance from the government bodies now. Nobody wants. No industry wants any compliance from the government bodies. Right? So how it is possible? It is possible only through this ZLD. Right? No cost on wastewater disposal. Nobody wants to spend the money, extra money, unnecessary money on the waste disposal by conventional methods. Then augmentation water supply, to increase the water supply, right? Wherever the scarcity is there, they want the water, they need to be recycled 100%, then only they will survive. And protecting the environment. Last one is the protecting the environment. Now the concept comes to everyone that we have to protect the environment, and for that this type of seminars are also very much helpful to create awareness, to create a concept that we have to protect the environment. Now what is zero liquid discharge system? Right? So zero liquid discharge system combines, it is not a single process, it is a combination of various processes. Right? It is not a single process. ZLD is not a single process. It is a combination of all 2-3 processes. One is the chemical, mechanical and thermal. This all combines together makes a wastewater into useful water, usable water, recyclable water. It comes in that pre-treatment, whatever the wastewater is coming, that is pre-treated, then by the clarifiers, then membrane technologies such as ultrafiltration, RO, right, with final stage of brine concentrators, evaporators and crystallizer system. These are the combination system. It depends on the nature of the effluent or nature of the industry which are generating the wastewater or effluent water. It depends on. We have not to say that only RO can do this, or only crystallizer can do this, or only clarifiers, it is okay. It is not like that. It is depends on the parameters or effluent quality to select the system or use the system. But it is combination of all these systems. Right? There are several ZLD includes combination thermal process with zero liquid discharge, mechanical and thermal evaporation, zero liquid discharge, enhanced membrane and thermal zero liquid discharge, evaporation ponds, wind aided intensified evaporation and evaporation, and lastly salt solidification and sequestration. So these are the techniques or these are the methods by which we can go for the ZLD. This is one typical diagram for the ZLD in a brief manner, short manner we can say. How the effluent is, whatever the effluent is coming in the raw form, raw effluent is being supplied to the pre-treatment plant like clarifiers or all this, right? And that water after clarifier and all this water, it goes to the reverse osmosis RO, and from RO it goes to the evaporators, and finally the used water or the useful water or treated water collected into the common tank, and from there it is being again reused for the process. So this is the one short method or type of flow diagram for this RO. This is little bit some wide or the stage wise flow diagram for the ZLD. So in that how we proceed one by one, step by step, But it is not like that it is adopted by every ZLD. It again depends on the effluent quality, effluent nature, and so many things, parameters. So it is not like that this system is only the ZLD. No, we have to adopt as per the components or as per the quality of the effluent. So that's why on this side it is written that parameter TDS, what are the TDS, TSS, hardness, silica, COD, all these are the parameters which are very much important to specify which treatment we have to adopt. So in this flow diagram, we can say that there is a collection tank, then after that HRSCC means this is one kind of clarifier only, then storage tank, then DMF, dual media filter, means filtration system also come in picture in between, then activated carbon filters, then ultrafiltration and reverse osmosis, RO1, RO2, there are number of stages for the RO also. It is not like that from the one stage only you can get the required quality of water. No, it is not like that. So we have to go with the number of stages of the RO, then finally to the multi-effect evaporators, and then concentrators or crystallizers, and then the last residue we can get as a solid salts, and the residual are the finally product of the used water or good quality of water that again recycled to the process. So this is the one flow diagram for the any industry. But you have to choose whether one stage RO is required, whether minimum RO is required, whether this filtration system is required, how much clarifiers are required. That all depends on your effluent quality. This is one flow diagram for the CETP, right? Central Effluent Treatment Plant. This is all one typical diagram for the flow diagram for the CETP, right? In that also the same pre-treatment RO, then reject goes to the evaporators, and then recovered salts. Same one, little bit different, but it is almost same as the earlier. But number of stages, capacities, systems, that is depends on again on the effluent quality. So this one flow diagram for this. Now overview of the ZLD plant, okay, how it looks like, right? From the first you see that okay, initially we have to go for the means all multiple sites from the one source, two source, three source. So many sources are there for the effluent generation from the Indian industry. It is not like that the effluent is coming from only one source. Many times it comes to the one source also, but there are number of sources also. They all together come into one common homogeneous tank, and from that it is being treated by biological oxidation, right? In the form of MBBR, or we are calling as the blower system, air fluidization system, like that, right? Then clarifiers, big clarifiers capacity also depends on the effluent quality, quantity, all these things. Then filtration, as I told, DMF, activated carbon filter, all these sort of things for removing the odors, smell, odor, like that. For that also filtration system is required. And then bottom you see that is membranes, RO membranes, bunch of RO membranes, and in the next stage is the multiple effect evaporator, right? And finally you can convert the same into the form of salt from ME and crystallizers, right? So these are the short overview of the system, how it looks or how it workable, and it is very compact. It is not like that it needs a very huge space or like that, but definitely pre-treatment requires some space, but post-treatment or final treatment is not required much space for this ZLD. This is one earlier I told wind added intensified evaporation. Wind added intensified evaporation. It is little bit new. By source of wind, we are converting this effluent into the useful water, and salt is being separated out. Second one is the de-operation. It is also one technology by which we can collect pure water as well as concentrated brine water. That again is to be being evaporated from the multi-effect evaporator or the thermal evaporation. But this is also used to reduce the cost of energy by adding energy, because ultimately evaporation method, if you use by a natural or minimum energy, that is only reduce the cost, because ultimately the cost is a major factor in the ZLD. It is a operating cost, maintenance cost and capital cost. These three costs are adding ZLD. Little bit people are thinking why to invest that much amount on ZLD, right? That is one factor. But as I earlier told, now this factor is also being eliminated and people are thinking, no, we have to invest that much and be peaceful. So now again I am saying the challenges are there. As I rightly told, challenges are there. Why challenges are there? Because high capital investment. ZLD is not a cheaper thing. It is very high capital investment. Then high O&M cost. Operation and maintenance cost is very high. This is a membrane, we can say, multi-effect evaporators, we can say, clarifiers also we can say. So all these are adding to the cost for operation and maintenance. Chemical addition, this coagulation, flotation, these all chemicals are also a costlier affair for the selection or your challenge for the ZLD. And lastly, challenge to handle variation in effluent parameters. If you design your ZLD on particular effluent and particular parameter, and after some time the product, industry product change and the effluent quality also change. At that time, what happened? It being collapsed. So that is only a very difficult situation to handle a variety of effluent or variety of or nature of change of effluent from the industry to handle. That is also one challenge for this ZLD. Lastly, I thanks you all to listen me, and if you have any question, we will discuss later on. And thank you once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Saket, for inviting me. Actually, I speak a lot at various seminars, but of the late I have been out of public life also because of COVID and assignments. After a long time, I am on a dais. It's a good sign that we are out of COVID threats. As they say, you have to be careful. Today's subject is a subject very close to my heart, which actually changed the direction of my profession after 16 years of my career in power plants. And I will be talking about this company called Arvind Envisol Limited. There are a lot of young faces also I am seeing here, and I am sure there are many entrepreneurs here, and there are many potential entrepreneurs. The one thing I learned in my life is that when you try to start a career or when you try to start your business, you always think that what business should I do? So whenever I mentor anybody, I say you should select a business which can solve some problem of society. And if that problem, if it is a pain point of the society, there is a guaranteed success of your enterprise. And it will not only earn you money, but it will also earn a lot of satisfaction in your life. It will also give the peace of sound sleep, as both my predecessor has taught them. So if you are exploring these possibilities, keep this point in mind. And I will tell you why, or I will give you the example. So in 1997 I joined Arvind, and when I read about Arvind's history, I was really thrilled, and I thought I have taken the right decision. Because if you see the history of Arvind, the textile business was started because during Gandhiji's time, they were burning the foreign clothes. And Kasturbai thought that burning the clothes is not a problem, not a solution. Providing alternate cheap clothes, local clothes, indigenous clothes to the public is the solution. And that's how the Arvind Mills came into existence. And for more than 70 years, we only produce cotton clothes till today. And success of Arvind is known to everyone. We have two great families in this city, Lalbais and Sarabhais. Vikram Sarabhai, all of you know. And that time, Baroda, a lot of industries came, IPCL, IUCL, refineries and everything. And if any heat exchanger failed, the whole refinery will be closed down for 6-7 months because the heat exchanger has to come through sea route from some European country and it will take 6 months. So the second need came and Anup Engineering was formed to address this problem and indigenize everything. And that's another company which is doing very well. And the reason is that it solved the pain point of the society. Atul also has the same story. So why I am saying is that I was also fortunate to form a company called Arvind Envisol Limited. And the success of this company, which is more than 400 crore today, is because it was solving one of the pain points of the society. I won't say that we have solved the problem, but I can definitely say that we have contributed a lot to ease out the water problems. Today this company is, this is not a marketing presentation, but I am sharing this to share my experience, and I am sharing this to say what really zero liquid discharge is. So you can see this company, and till today, in my board meetings or in any of the talk I do about this company, I don't talk much about the financial numbers. I speak the first point that we recycle more than 150 mld of water every day. And that gives the satisfaction and that gives the motivation to my team to do more. So 4 કરોડનું પ્રોફિટ બોટમ લાઈનમાં એડ થાય એના કરતાં 1 mld નું પાણી એડ થાય એની મજા વધારે આવે. So that's the passion. And it's a highly technology driven company. We have more than 38 registered patents, and all of them except 3 are on water technology. So it's a highly technology driven company. I will also come to say why we are focusing on the technology. Half of it is said that even today cost of ZLD is very high. So unless we reduce the cost, the compliance will not happen. And that is where the focus on technology is very important. So we give complete solution, and we have a strong presence in food, metal, agro, pharma, all kind of industry, and we do also a lot of export. This is a short story of my company, which I will not speak more on technical and others, but I will speak the points of this journey from 2011 to today, more in terms of what take home you can have after my speech. We have global presence. I'll quickly run through this because this later part of this I will try to speak first. Please excuse me because the slides are not in sequence. So this is the company which is known for the zero liquid discharge. So when in 2011, and how this company was formed, because of all the problems that was mentioned, the capital cost, the operating cost, the technology problems in the multi-effective operator, the problems in RO which are eased out today. But in 1997, we came out with a big textile complex at Santej. It's a 490-acre complex. That was one of the biggest investment in the world in single location for the textile. And environment was in forefront. When there is a challenge which is affecting the society, and when an individual entrepreneur or individual company can't solve it, then either government comes with lot of subsidy and support to solve it, which even today state and central government is doing, or there are the industry leaders or society leaders who will take the challenge and contribute initially. So in 1997, our board decided that we will go for zero liquid discharge because our consumption was 10 ml. And there was an option of discharging it after the primary, secondary treatment to Sabarmati. But against this odd, company decided, though regulation was not insisting for even recycling at that time, and this board decided that we will do the zero liquid discharge. So, well, everything happened, the plant came up, and I was lucky to get associated because I joined Arvind for power plants, and we were building 2 power plants that time. But when the plant reached to the stage of commissioning, I was asked to look after it. I refused. I said I don't know anything about water, but Sanjay Bhai told that you be the admin and hire the technocrats. And when I started looking at the power plant and the commission, we had huge problems. The complete, and that time anybody I talk about the effluent treatment plant and the treated effluent being fed to RO, which is normal procedure today, that time everybody says you are fool. This kind of water can't be fed to us. And you will have trouble, and we had trouble. We had strong partner, Thermex was the complete EPC contractor, the membrane manufacturer was directly involved and everything was there. But even though it was done for the first time, and in 10 days time the RO got completely choked and nobody knew what happened. Right? It was a biological fouling, but that time nobody knew what happened, and the complete 10 mld RO system, the output was less than 1 ml. And the whole complex of 490 acre came to standstill. So those were the learning. We solved that problem after a lot of pains and all that. And we restarted the plant and we ran it. But then the second challenge with both my speakers before saying, it was the cost. And company went into financial trouble. And I was told to close down this plant because my treatment cost in Naroda plant is 7 rupees a meter cube. And Sathe treatment cost was 450 rupees a meter cube. And the plant was 10 ml. But by that time I saw the plant. I remember that evening when Sanjay Bhai called and told me, "Aap band kar do, nahi chale, TPCB aapse to off the record." But he was so frustrated, and the whole company was at stake. And he said, "Band kar de." From inside he knew कि आप बंद तो नहीं था, but he said, "Band kar de, we can't run this." And I said, "I won't answer you today. I will come back to." Because that day when I went up on a building and saw the plant, the 10 ml water was moving like a river. And that quantity of water, if I say, if we draw this water every day from the ground and throw somewhere, because we all know that whatever good amount of treatment we do, there will be, that water will not be as good as, the fresh water. Especially that time when the technology was not very mature. So I don't know what happened, but next day morning I went and told Sanjay Bhai, "Band to nahi karo." So I challenge leva taiyar, cost ochi kariya. He said, "How much cost will you reduce?" I said, "I will reduce the cost 50% in 3 months time." And he knew band to nahi tawa. I go, "Okay, you do this." And after that, I'm very proud. I remember each and every face of my team there. And in 3 or 4 months' time, we reduced 70% of the cost. And the count of innovations that we did were not great scientific innovations. Today, my company has 38 patents in various technologies of the world. But those reduction was very simple, very common sense reductions. I have shared those reductions in various platforms at that time. But it was like cooling water is coming to ETT. I said, why? So, pani garam che. We store it somewhere, allow it to cool, use it into the process. There was a lot of heating process. So we diverted that water to those heating process. Though there was a cost, but there was a roadmap that so much of input water we can reduce, and that is where we learn that beginning of the pipe solution is actually the key to reduce the cost of your treatment plant. That can be done even today. In most modern industries, even today, I go and see a lot of things which can be simply done are not being done for various reasons. Right? So if you look back, then there are many solutions available around you. Then a lot of chemicals that we were using were actually the effluent of other industries. Today you must be knowing PAC is being used for the treatment. We are the first company, and how it happened, there was a neighboring industry, very small pharma industry. His owner came to my ETP head and said कि हमारे पास एक टैंकर में effluent છે તમે આવડો મોટો પ્લાન્ટ છે તમે ફીસ કરો ને મારે GPCB નું ક્લોઝર અને our 10 mld plant was not operating at 10 mld, it was 8 mld. So we had a room. That way we were aggressively looking after the cost કઈ રીતે ઓછી કરે. So we thought this is an opportunity. અને કીધું ભાઈ તારે પૈસા થશે આના કે ગમે તે કોસ્ટ લઈ લો મારા તમે પાણી રોજ એક ટેન્કર લઈ લો. And I said, okay, I will analysis करी लेमा, and the technician came who is running a water business today because he learned everything there. He came and he said, sir, आपको color removal chemical. He said, and it's also correcting the pH. So we did a lot of trials. And we started taking his effluent. We told him that we won't charge you anything, but you send this tanker every day. That time we were using Grasim's PAC, powder PAC, if I remember correctly, about 27 rupees a kg. So 5 ton of PAC almost were eliminated every day. And then we started looking after various pharma industry. We asked them to supply. There were a lot of challenges with GPCB. We went and told them that this is real, you know, the waste of one industry to the raw material of other industries. GPCB was very kind to accept. Various officers, including last our Hardik, we promoted this concept in a big way later on. What I'm trying to say out of this is that, you know, the leaders have to come in when there is a big challenge. We will face a lot of problems, but there are always solutions. Where there is a will, there is a way, and that is what we actually experienced. So we did everything. That plant is running even today, and 10 mld has become 20 mld. There were delegations from all over, not only from India, but from our international customers. Also, a lot of people come and see that plant even today. We are very proud of it. But the cost point I could not solve as desired. That is yet a challenge even today. So that fight is on. The certain technical problems like ME choking, ME cost, and all those are there even today. And then I was transferred, I worked in different areas, I handled engineering, so on and so on. In 2010, board told me to conceptualize new business. So solar was close to my heart, water was always close to my heart. I knew water will be selected, but I presented 6 different possible new businesses for us. And you won't believe, out of 10 board members, 9 members say water. Because that is the pain point. And the philosophy of thinking is even same today, which was there in 1997 and which was there in 1927 when Kasturba was. So that's the legacy this company carries. And I was pleased to accept, and only thing I had in my mind is that ZLD no problem solved. So when I presented next, I will provide only no primary, no secondary, nothing. I will provide the RO reject solution. You are mad. Out of 100 mld, 20 mld or 10 mld come for ZLD. So your market size as such is 10% of the total market size. There is no regulation to ZLD. Who will spend money? And your solution is very costly. But I was very, very convinced. The board was kind enough to accept my proposal to work on ZLD. And we started this company with a patented technology, MDR, which was much better, which is even much better than the ME. Of course, it doesn't eliminate ME, but it reduces the cost dramatically. And it can take 10 to 20 or 50% of ME load, depending on the parameter of RO. And we started this plant, wherever we go, everybody says, Anisu Jaruj. But in very short time, ZLD started becoming mandatory. Tirupur mein aayu, Rajasthan mein aayu, and we had the best solution. So in no time, I would say in 1.5 years, I had 100 installations. So that gave a big kick off to this company. And what advantage it gave, so sometimes when you take a tough challenge, so initially you may feel the pain, but after a very short time you will be the winner, because everybody looks up to you. The small problems everyone else solves. But the most difficult problem if someone has solved, then the confidence of that customer in you increases. And that is what happened in our case. ZLD કરો મારો આરો ને ZLD કરી નાખો. આરોમાં મેં નથી ખબર શું છે આરો, કઈ રીતે કરવાનું, મારે કઈ ટેકનોલોજી અરે ZLD કરો છો તો આરો તો આવડે જ ને. So instead of we convincing the customer is always convinced, rather trying us to convince that you can do it. That is RO came in our field, and then ETP also came in our basket, and today we are end-to-end problem solution. The plant which you are seeing is the plant which give another turning point to this company is in the Ethiopia, place called Havasa, very beautiful place. This is the first zero liquid discharge plant of 12 MMT for the country, and we have an MOU signed with this country. All their future projects will be zero liquid discharge, and all those projects will be done by us. Today we have almost 350 crore of order only from Ethiopia. And the Prime Minister of Ethiopia came and awarded us, because he got a lot of political mileage to the world to come and invest here, because we have the zero liquid discharge plants here. So it gives you, the return comes to you not immediately, but after some time all returns come to you if you have taken a big check. So today we have all kinds of capability, right from primary treatment to secondary treatment. Each section we have half a dozen to dozen technologies, depending on the challenge that you have. We have a lot of, we represent Hydronautics USA, we are pan-India dealer for them for membranes. Today I would say that we have, one of the best process design team in India for any kind of equipment. This top left is the MBR technology, which I'm very passionate about it. So that is the seed for this company to grow. And we have all kind of solutions. This is the MBR. Whenever you need, you can connect, and my team can come and tell you all the numbers on this. So coming to here, so all this was done, and there's a great success story, everything is fine. But yet we know there are many pain points. When we first produced the salt, nobody believed. Even when we were recycling 80% of water, I was there, and GPCB officer will come and say, JCB લઈને આવો, અહીંયા ખોદો, તમે જમીનમાં આવું પાણી નીકળે જ નહીં. So that was the conviction that time. GPCB officers won't believe. But after 6 months, so before GPCB officer comes, we used to keep JCB ready. But after 3 or 4 visits, GPCB will come with 2 or 3 industry to see how Arvind is doing, see what kind of water they are. So initially you may face challenge, even for your new business which you do. But once you surpass 1 or 2 or 3 steps, once you have one success story, then I think nobody can stop it. And that is what this journey taught us. So today this company is there, everything is there, but I know the pain points, and I am not directly looking after this company now, though I am there as a director. I don't look after day-to-day. But I know the pain point, and I am nowadays trying to reinvent what I have done. So the beginning of pipe solution is yet very close to me. Nobody has time to spend on this concept. And there are people, with due respect to them, but most of us don't pay attention to that. Decentralized treatment is another big concept which can help reduce this cost in India. And that is where the beginning, in the beginning what we have, like, we talked a lot with the government that you are talking to industry to do the zero liquid discharge. But what about the huge amount of water which goes to the farm? we all know ખેડૂતો ભણેલા નથી, equipped નથી, ખબર નથી એમને, તો ક્યાં કેટલા પાણીનું waste થાય છે. So what we and government should do to minimize that. Similarly, the major big flow is the city's domestic effluent. Huge amount of domestic waste effluent, and till late last number was that 30% થી વધારે domestic waste water treated નથી. So 70-80% domestic waste water going to land discharge, going to farms and causing the damage there. Big challenge. And this is the most docile water which can be treated and recycled. There is hardly any need to go up to RO even, forget the ME. Packet TDS to change. So why this sector is ignored? If we really want to save the water, then I think we should focus on that. So that is where it came that today we are one of the biggest STP suppliers. We have MBR, we have membranes, we have various technologies on clarification and everything, where we give the sewage treatment plants. But on sewage, one of the concept is this. So there are many cities and villages where the sewage network is not. There are developed cities where the sewage network is overloaded because the density of population has increased over a period of time. And it's not practical to revive the whole sewage lines. So what do we do there? Or even when there are new cities coming up, why to go for such a big sewage network, so many complicates both these problems. You don't need a sewage network. You don't need to pump water from city to outside the city, huge amount of power cost there. And the whole nuisance that is created on a concentrated treatment is avoided. How? So this STP goes underground. Major problem in city is the jagya. So this goes underground, you can build parking on that, you can build a garden on that. The water goes from one end and the treated water comes out from the other end, which is good enough for watering the plants or garden. And if you put more treatments, it can be used to many other uses also. So space requirement issue is gone, cost is very less, sludge removal is after 2 years max, minimum. And the sludge generate na. Since this goes underground, there is no thermal shock to the microbes. So very, very stable system because there is no thermal shock below the ground. And there is no pumping required from city to outside city. There is no nuisance of concentrated effluent treatment plant at one place. The sludge issue is removed. We have more than 100 installations of this today. And this is a very fantastic solution which has taken me to beginning of pipe solution. Here in Oda, we have provided the Chief Minister's residence is there, and he said, "Maru garden saru karunga." And we said, "We solve your problem of garden." Because his problem was not water treatment or STP, his problem was garden. So we give them the solution, and our garden saru kariya. And we provided this STP there. And the garden got completely revived because this water is too good for the garden. And then he realized that તમે તો effluent નું પાણી આપો છો કોઈ દિવસ વાસ આવી તમને અને તમારું raw water બચ્યું તમારું ગાર્ડન આટલું સુંદર થઈ ગયું તો કે વધારે કરો ને બીજું પાણીનું શું કરશો so he said we will sell the water and today they are selling this water to all the buildings. This is such a fantastic solution. So what I am trying to say is problem is very complicated. Cost pressures are very high, and they say, when the situation is tougher gets going. So let's select a subject which is tough to solve. That is what the satisfaction of taking a challenge and solving a challenge comes. And work on the common sense method. Don't look for very high-tech initiatives. There are a lot of solutions lying in your factory, around you. Try and search them and solve these problems by that. Don't come to water experts like us to give you an offer and solve your problem. I think first you do that, definitely your solution at the end of the day will be low capital cost, low operating cost, and it will give you peace of mind and a lot of satisfaction. So that's the message I wanted to give. Thank you very much.